side on the left, you on the right.
No, we need to sit on this side.
Where do you want me?
Over in this side. If you're a family, then you can sit on the front as well.
Right, pass for the best man.
Be my wedding wife.
I, Alison Louise Francis. I, Alison Louise Francis. Take you, Alex James Kemp. Take you, Alex James Kemp, to be my wedding husband. Be my wedding husband. If you two stay like that, everybody else please be seated.
To respect you, to always be loyal to you, and to strive for a long, healthy and happy future together. I promise to support you no matter what life brings our way. I promise to encourage you to push your own boundaries and to experience things you might not have the confidence to do on your own. And unfortunately, I will never accept that you don't like horror movies. Above all, I hope to enhance your life as much as you do mine, and I promise to love you as my wife as we grow older together.
I promise to always tell you the truth, so that you know that I will never like horror movies. But you also know that when I tell you I love you, I mean it. I promise to appreciate and enjoy our similarities, but to remember that it's our differences that make us stronger. I promise to respect and share your dreams, even if it means buying you a wingsuit. And I promise to make sure we always look simultaneously for each other in our busy lives. I promise to love you, laugh with you, and look forward to all the new memories we will make as we share our lives together. He says it's not true.
It's not.
Ladies and gentlemen of the class of '99, wear sunscreen. If I could only offer you one tip for the future, sunscreen would be it. The long-term benefits of sunscreen have been proved by scientists, whereas the rest of my advice has no basis more reliable than my own meandering experience. But trust me, in 20 years, you will look back at photos of yourself and recall in a way that you can't grasp now how much possibility lay before you and how fabulous you really looked. You are not as fat as you imagine.
Just in case it's on there, I'll repeat after me. I give you this ring
Ali, I give you this ring
as a sign of our love and our marriage.
as a sign of our love and marriage.
It is an outward sign
This is an outward sign
of the commitment we have made to each other
of commitments we have made to each other
here today.
here today.
Just gently. As a sign of our love and our marriage. As a sign of our love and our marriage. It is an outward sign. It is an outward sign of the commitments we have made to each other. Of the commitments we have made to each other here today. Here today.
I'd use arguments such as, what's the point in spending loads of money on a bit of paper? And, if you really love each other, then that's enough to build a life together. Why does it have to be tied up with binding contracts? I even tried saying that saving marriage for later life, when you already have a family, would be a great option, as that way we'd also have something to look forward to. However, a little over a year ago, I realised that my arguments were starting to make less sense, and Alison clearly had a difference of opinion when it came to tying the knot. Just as she was starting to concede it would never happen, I too had a change of heart, and realised that I probably should make the step. So last October, and to Alison's surprise, there I was on Castillejo Beach, down on one knee. The first time I met Alison via a Match.com introduction was at the Slug and Lettuce in Solihull. I had suggested the Orange Tree, Chadwick End, as our initial date site, but Alison decided that we should meet in Solihull. I didn't contest, but later discovered that this was a strategic move done in order for her to be able to make a swift exit if required. And also, to be guaranteed that there would be plenty of others around in case I tried to kidnap her. From my point of view, it made life easier anyway, as the Slug was walking distance from my residence at the time, which offered the advantage of being able to drink more than the usual 1 pint. So I took full advantage of this and drank 5 in rapid succession. Our first date went well. And Alison didn't have to utilise her exit strategy. We had good conversation, favourite animals came into it, favourite biscuits, jobs, etc. Alison wasn't even put off when she thought from my job description that I worked in a hi-fi shop. For me, the moment of our first date that stands out was about halfway through when Alison stood up to go to the loo, and I suddenly realised that this girl was not only interesting, but she was also pretty gorgeous. I was quite surprised that after drinking 5 pints on a Sunday afternoon, in comparison to Alison's 0 pints, that she was still keen to meet again. It was then I realised that I could be onto a winner, and from there our courtship began. From the start it was clear that both myself and Alison had led very different experiences growing up, and were very different characters. Initially this put some doubt in my mind as to whether we were truly meant to be together. Probably the most obvious difference is our mutual relationships with drugs and alcohol. While Alison had never tried a cigarette, won't even have 1 drink while driving, and is very controlled in her approach to alcohol, I unfortunately have never had the same restraint. When we met in August 2009, I was 26. I'd already had a few alcohol-induced bad experiences, which I'm sure my best man, Adam, will be happy to fill you in on shortly. So I saw Alison's self-control as a positive thing, and also thought it could perhaps be a positive influence on me too. This by no means makes Alison any less exciting, I hasten to add. Alison is always happy, always has a good time, and certainly has no fear of dancing, sober or otherwise. I soon learned that Alison has many other impressive qualities. Alison is outgoing. She does not tolerate fools. She is a hard worker, and I'm sure outstanding at what is a very tough job. She appreciates life. She is the kindest person I know. She is adventurous and willing to give things a try. She is caring. I don't think she has a bad bone in her body, and I'm sure you'll all agree that she is absolutely beautiful, and never more so than today. Thank you, thank you. Thanks. As I began to realise all of these things, it was pretty hard not to fall in love with her. And so it wasn't long before I was knocking on the door of the Francis residence. The first time I met Rob and Steph, I really didn't know what to expect. From Alison's generally well-behaved aura, I was expecting similarly well-behaved parents. However, I was immediately surprised to discover a rowdy, friendly, and very welcoming bunch of brummies dwelling at 14 Heaton Road, Solihull. 16, I'm sorry. I know what it looks like. The loudest of all was, of course, Stephanie Francis, who occasionally shrieked and blurted out inappropriate sexual remarks with such good nature that it genuinely wasn't awkward at all. It was then that I realised where Alison had obtained this skill from, as it was an unusual characteristic I had already spotted in her as well. Steve, Alison's brother, I'm sorry Steve, had no qualms with farting without restraint. Even on my very first visit. Which again was a surprise. This is something I still mostly refrain from doing whilst at the now in-laws home. Although, of course, it wouldn't be frowned upon. The Francis gang have been great fun to be around, and I was very quickly comfortable with them. So thank you, Rob and Steph, Steve and Nat, for making me feel so welcome as part of your family from day one. Thank you too to Rob and Steph for being amazing parents to Alison. I know that she thinks the world of you both. At this point, I also need to turn my attention to my own family. I am very lucky to have been brought up in a fairly liberal household. We certainly had freedom of speech, and it wasn't always as laid back as some might imagine. The Penn household became renowned for its dramas, of which there were many, but it was also a great place to be for both me and my sister Katie growing up. Katie too did very well to put up with me for a brother, so perhaps I should apologise for the pain I inflicted and for the torture you endured. Katie, I am sorry, and thank you for being a great sister. We had great family holidays abroad, which opened my eyes to the wider world and helped spark my passion for travel. I was always encouraged to do the things I enjoyed, even if it was costly. This allowed some amazing experiences, learning to ski with school, and later taking on snowboarding, where I really discovered my love for adrenaline sports. Whether it's my own competitive nature, or whether it was instilled in me to succeed, I'm unsure. But I always wanted to do well in whatever it was I was doing. And generally, hard work gave me the results I was after. I'd like to thank both of my parents, John and Heather, for your commitment to me, for steering me in the right direction, for giving me the freedom to make my own decisions and sometimes for allowing me to make mistakes, and for consistently being great fun throughout. As a teenager especially, I was very lucky to have a house where my friends were always welcome and where parties at the Pens were commonplace. Thank you, Mum and Dad, for being the best parents I could have asked for. mentioned it, I will say it again. My mum's 60 next week. Happy birthday, Mum. It was pretty hard choosing a best man. Because I've always had such a good and solid group of friends. Andrew is here from the early days in Nottingham. All of what became known to my parents as the Dorridge Massive are here, with the exception of Chris Whiteside, who has to be named as he is absolutely a member of the gang, but unfortunately couldn't make the trip from Australia. Boo, Chris. However, Rich, our Master of Ceremonies, and Laura have managed to make a special trip from Singapore to be here. I did also, unfortunately, have a bit of a trauma on the flight here, where the man 2 seats behind had to be resuscitated. Unfortunately, this isn't really a laughing matter, but it is strangely amusing, I don't know, to me, like to me. But unfortunately, this man died. And as he was being carried off the plane, his arm hit Richard in the face. This is 100% true. Sorry man, I'm not laughing at your death, it's just funny. So, thanks very much. That's the American celebration. Thank you. So, thanks very much for coming, guys, and congratulations to both of you for the mini Davis that's now on the way. Steve, another member of the Dorridge gang, I also need to thank you for helping me out with making the wooden log features you may have noticed scattered around. Thank you very much for your time on those, Steve. So then, after leaving Dorridge and heading to uni in Aberystwyth, I joined the Snowboard Society, where I made yet more great friends, several of whom are also here today. I've been very lucky to always find good people to share my time with, so thanks very much to all of you for being such great company and for making it hard for me to pick the best man. On that note, I'd like to propose a toast to great friends. Great friends.
Great friends.
Cheers.
So, with all of these cool human beings around me, you may wonder why I chose Adam Smith as my best man. Well, the truth is, he's a great friend. We've always shared a similar outlook on certain things and have generally enjoyed each other's company since we were sixth formers. Anyway, I'll leave all of that to him. I have no doubt I will be appropriately humbled by the end of these speeches, but hopefully Adam has also been appropriately selective, as there really is no shortage of ammunition. Before his speech gets underway, I should also thank Adam for organising an incredible stag do. Despite the mankini and quite a severe hangover, I had a thoroughly enjoyable time, and both myself and Alison would like to thank you for not taking me to Eastern Europe. I'm not alone in having grown up in great company, as Alison's glamorous group of bridesmaids, I'm sure, will testify. Like me, Alison has friends from different groups, from her esteemed colleagues at the Rochelle School of Dance, Langley School, and of course her time spent as a sports science student at Loughborough University and Sheridan at college. I'd like to thank the bridesmaids for organising a great hen-do and for all again being great friends. To the bridesmaids. Special thanks also go to Jenny Gilbert, who was the artistic talent.
Mrs. Penn.
Control. Control. Badass. Badass.